Okay, so I decided just to do a second video. I'll show you Padme. She's actually my absolute favorite boa. I only have one favorite boa at this moment. And I'm about to take her out because I gotta change her cage anyway, so I figured I might as well go ahead and do this. Let's get started. Alright. Where you going, love? Alright, this is my favorite Colombian boa. Yeah, where are you going? You trying to get a grab and you can't get a grab? Alright. It's alright, girl. It's alright. Alright, so this is Padme. She is just a common BCI, which means she's just a common boa. Boas come in all sorts of colors and designs. That's why we call them a BI or a BCI, Imperior. She just usually hangs out on my cat tower, but this is my pretty girl. I love her to bits. Had her since she was a baby. She's a good old girl. Never had problems with her. She usually hangs out on my cat tower. My favorite part of her is she has an hour. Hey, you saying hi? You saying hi? My favorite part of her, she has an hourglass, as you see right there. When she straightens out, it's an hourglass. It's my favorite part of her. Besides that awesome, amazing little mustache. Blue tongue. Yeah, are you saying hi? Such a beautiful girl. But yeah, this is my boa. Boas have a different feeding cycle than pythons. Boas can eat twice their size, but we highly don't recommend it. A lot of us go by 10% of their body weight. With her, she could eat an extra large rat, no problem, or a 4-week-old rabbit. Usually for those that don't go by body weight, we often will choose the thickest part of the body and go by that. With boas, the reason why we don't feed boas as often as we feed pythons is because boas actually digest a lot slower. It actually takes them 2 to 3 times longer than regular pythons. So, like a lot of folks, some folks will feed their boas, their babies, once every 5 days, and then their sub-adults to adults usually will grow and distance out the food size with how big they are and how big the food size is. Like feeding smalls, I will usually go every 10 days. Larges, or I should say mediums, I'm sorry. Mediums I would go every 3, and then larges every 3. Anything bigger than a large would go about 4 weeks. Some folks will feed a big size rabbit and then not feed for 2 months. That's not particularly my style. I would rather feed something a little smaller and keep like meals at a steady rate. That's my preference. I also, like, if you feed snakes, any kind of snakes, too much to make them grow faster, that's called power feeding, and it's highly frowned upon because not only does it shorten the lifespan of the animal, but it also can compact them and kill them. That's why we highly don't recommend it. Slow and steady growth is the best growth possible. These guys are very easy to care for. Their heat is usually around in the 88-degree range. That's a nice happy medium for them. She likes to be in a hide, and I just took a wicker basket, cut a hole in it, taped down the side so she couldn't hurt herself, and just basically just put her on newspaper and a Viv and just spray her down when I need to. Other than that, she's very easy, basically almost like the care of like a ball python. They're very easy to care for, but they do grow big. Most females will grow about 8 feet long. It's rare for them to grow past 9 feet. It also, Colombian boa red tails will usually often get 9 feet, sometimes 10. They do grow a little bit bigger. However, there are a lot of people have misconceptions of, you know, hey, I have a red-tailed boa. Often, red-tailed boas do not come in various colors. Even like the different morphs are BCI, or BI, I should say, boa imperator. The reason for that is BCCs, or boa constrictor is what that stands for. Basically, strictly red tails. They're very, not everybody's into them because, yeah, they may grow a little bit bigger, but their color never changes. They're very standard. There's no morph. It's just one simple thing. But the red can be very pretty. Very pretty. I will give them that. I am always going to be an imperial type of person because I love having the different colors, the different morphs, the different eyes. Their eyes just are so stunning because the eyes usually have a split right down the center in the middle and have different colors. And hers are brown and green usually. Yeah, brown and green. But they also like to be in a size that's perfect for them. She is currently in a 3x2x2. Sometimes the snakes will switch off and I'll put Merlin in a different viv and then she will go into the big one behind me. And I always make sure I clean really well beforehand and switch out any of the substrates and whatnot. Clean all the bowls. Another thing for snake cleaning and snake care, a good thing to use as an antiseptic. You can get there's a lot of folks saying that there's a certain spray you can buy online. Me and several others actually use the original Listerine, and then we mix it 50-50 with water. And that way it takes that smell out and it kills all the bacteria. And it's easy to get at any store. So we highly recommend that. We clean our cages at least, for me, I clean them about once every 10 days, or as soon as they're soiled, I clean them. You never want to leave old skin in there, or food particles, fecal matter, urates. The urates are white, and they're usually clumped, and they're usually almost a solid form. Often they will cause a puddle. It's kind of gross. You always want to change that out because that can leave bacteria in there. Another big thing is you never, ever, ever want to cohab. Never. It's a huge frowned upon thing. A lot of folks are like, well, they've lived together for years. That doesn't mean it's okay. Because it's not what will happen, it's when the problems will start. If you have several forms of, you know, they're living in the same cage and they're like underneath the light together, everybody calls them cuddling. It's not cuddling, it's they're trying to get the heat, and that's all it is. A lot of folks will put emotions with their snakes. The snakes cannot feel emotion. They can feel pain like the rest of us, but they cannot feel love or hate. Yes, they do get pissed off occasionally. Sometimes they'll vibrate when they're pissed off as well. Very interesting sensation. If they're scared or very just like not comfortable with their situation, they will vibrate. They'll actually, their body will put off a vibration. Another big thing, I talk to my snakes. I always tell people and new owners, talk to your snakes because they will learn. They can't hear you, they are deaf. However, they can feel the vibrations in our vocal cords and recognize who their handler is by your vocal cords. So like if they're like under some sort of uncomfortable situation, often I'll have a friend handling them, and if they want, I'll start talking, they'll automatically come my direction. And it's not because they know who I am, it's because they recognize the vibrations in my vocal cords, and they're like, hey, I'm safe with that person. And that's who she would call her handler. But we're going to wrap this up. We're at 10 minutes. I'm sorry, guys, but that's a lot of information. Hopefully I can post more information soon. Have a good day. Talk to y'all later. Bye.